Is that what you want? For me to shut up? No. No. Good creatures, I think you have me all wrong. Back in the overworld, they'd scoff at your foolishness. There's a tale they tell about me, you know, and I think it would benefit you to hear it. It's rather short too, so I believe we can indulge a little tangent before your guards act on your command. Long ago, there was a village, deep in the desert far in the overworld's western plateau. Yes, the Dust Basin. The one notorious for its bitter living conditions. I was visiting the village to set to rights a dispute, one between the villagers and their guardians, the sentient weeds. Oh yes, the very same that strangled the Salamander King. Indeed, they were mighty. This was long after that event, though. They had settled down in the spot where the village was before said village had been made. The first settler cleverly made a pact with them. Let us make our home here and we will split our waters equally with you in rain and shine. And so on and so forth. Every settler made this pact. And once the barren land became a place shared between the weeds and the people. The village grew large, and at first the weeds were tended for. But, as the founders grew old and into the dust, the people began to forget. The might of the weeds was lost to the people's minds. Why should we feed such useless creatures with our precious water? They changed their ways to tend to more crops, and the weeds began to grow thirsty. I heard of this change, and quickly made haste to the village, and began to explain to the villagers how they must return the water to the weeds at haste, or lose everything they owned. The villagers did not understand at first. Why feed those wretched things? The leader at the time had begun agitating the weeds by tearing them up, and, in response, word had travelled of the weeds growing thorns and pricking the villagers to great injury. You must stop this folly, said I, lest you soon see the ruin of your ways. I pointed to the ground. This land, this foundation of all your very homes, is built on sand. The villagers still did not understand my point. So what? Will the weeds take our sand? No, I cried. They are the foundations! The weeds keep these homes from slipping into the dust! And I pointed all around to where the sentient weeds grew. In the paths, along the walls, along the church and the gardens. Without them, you have nothing. Without you feeding them, they are nothing. Together, you can exist in this barren land. Apart, you are nothing but dust. The villagers were quiet. I promise you, I whispered, your ancestors did not learn the ways to live with these weeds without my aid. And just as I promised them, these weeds, which slew the Salamander King, who terrorized your ancestors, will protect you as long as you protect them. They are your greatest friend in this waste, and to scorn them is to scorn the aid of your greatest friend. And so, the village turned to dust. The weeds grew, fed by the villagers foolish enough to believe my candid words of ancient lore and an imaginary friendship. The village was destroyed and became the wasteland it is today. My bounty was paid by the sentient weeds, and they continue to thrive in their rightful home. So, great king, you may try to call your guards, but I have come to offer you my aid, and you will receive it.